Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai.
To say, because in the last 4 years everything has been said. But this afternoon, Guruji was saying that you talk a little bit about yourself, at least for today. So, I'll start with a small story, which I have, I think, told over here, but I'm going to repeat it. Before I met Mr. Tawaria in 1988, I met Shri Ramdulare Bapu, who was my guru. I met him in 1975, and I spent 7 years with him. Nobody knew him. Nobody knew that he was this embodiment of divinity, this great master. And he was a real master, a very strict master, very, very strict master. And he used to travel all over India as a padyatra. And he used to come every winter to spend a few days in Dwarka at a very famous Gujarati author's house. And this time when he would come there, live a few days, and the author thought that some Swami is here. He didn't know who this Swami was. And he would give him a room. He had a huge house. And the Swami would make what you call toys for the children and to play with the children the whole day. And in this way he came for a couple of years. Every year he would come. One day, all the poets of Gujarat and the authors of Gujarat and all had gathered at his house for a sammelan, a gathering. And the topic of discussion that evening was a story from one of the Upanishads, the story of Shvetketu and Udalak. And everybody knows the story, but we'll repeat the story. When Shvetketu was young, Udalak sent him to the ashram to get knowledge. And he stayed 8 years, 10 years, whatever, with his teacher to get knowledge. And after those 10 years, he was returning home. They say it was early morning. The sun was rising. His father, the rishi, was milking the cows. And he sees his son coming with the sun rising in the background. And when the sun is rising or the sun is setting, suddenly people's auras are very easy to see. And in that background he saw his son's aura. And it was full of pride that I have learned something, that I know something. And the father was sad that I sent him there to the school to learn, and he comes back with this huge ego that I know so much. And the son came, he bowed down to the father, and the father asked him, then what did you learn at the feet of your master? And he said, I learned so many things. I know mathematics, I know geography, I know history. There's nothing in the world that I don't know. And the father said that that's all okay. But have you learned that one thing, knowing which you know everything? And the son was authentic. He looked inside and he said, no, I don't know that one thing, knowing which you know everything. And he said, then you've learned nothing. All this is useless. This is just information you've gathered. Go back to your guru. Tell him to teach you that one thing, knowing which you know everything. And this was the topic of discussion at this Gujarati author Pushkar Bhai's house. And all of them were giving their opinion of what is that one thing, knowing which you know everything. And Ramdulare Bapu, he was sitting in the corner. The children had gone to bed and he was listening to what everybody was saying. And they went on discussing till early morning. Early morning, somebody said that why not we ask the Swami who has come? And he said one word, Swabhav. If you've not realized your own true divine nature, you've not learned anything. Everything else is a farce. Our story starts not with our birth, whether we were born an Indian or whether we were born a South African. Our story starts much before that. Something is seeking a body. We call that a soul. And it is seeking a mother and father to express itself in a physical form. This is where our story starts. And that soul which is seeking expression in physical form, for what purpose? Why does it want to take on a physical form? And after it is born as a physical form, does it remember why it was born? Or does it forget? The mother and father feel they are giving birth to the child. They are not giving birth to any child. The child is borrowing DNA. Some soul is borrowing DNA to express itself in a physical form. It is taking something like you take a loan from the bank. There's nothing like my son or your son. Why? What does it want to learn in this school of life? Does it want to learn history? Does it want to learn geography? Philosophy? What does it want to learn? Or does it want to get rid of something? Does it want to go through a system of purification where it realizes that it is truly divine? And has it come into the school of life to learn that? And in this school of life, it takes on a body. For a few years, the soul is a little active in the young child. And around the 5th year, something else comes into the child, and that is what we call the ego. The false I. The real I is put to sleep. And then all the experiences of life are lived by somebody else. Somebody totally false. Something acquired from life. Something acquired from your upbringing, from your education. What has come to us from life and what did we come with? What have we acquired in life? All our degrees are acquired. All our relationships are acquired. They have no meaning in the transformation for the soul. The soul is seeking a different transformation. And for that, there has to be a right knowledge, a right understanding. So today the topic which I was going to take was what constitutes effort. What is right effort? What is the difference between mechanical effort and conscious effort? Anything we do in our normal life line of time makes no difference to the soul. I may change my place of work and go into an ashram. Maybe I wear orange clothes or something. Makes no difference. Because the soul is not temporal. Our body is temporal. It is born and it dies. The soul is not born and it does not die. It comes from some other dimension of time. And to bring about a change in the soul, a transformation in the matter in which the soul is made, we have to work in a different time. We cannot work in this time, that I'll get a degree tomorrow, I'll be a better person tomorrow. It's not possible. Because the soul does not understand this language of yesterday and tomorrow. So the first thing to work with the soul, like he said, my dear friend, is to come into the present moment. Because the soul is presence. And the present moment is the only connection to that presence. So he said you talk a little bit about yourself. So I'm going to talk about a little of what I was doing the last few months. Right? I'm not going to... Right? As you know, I live alone. Right? And my wife says you live in a 5-star hotel. She says you don't have to do anything about your food. Your food comes on a tray. You get room service. And people ask me, what are you doing there living alone? All alone. It's in the middle of nowhere. When I first came to live there, the first 6 months we had no electricity. This time, I took one sentence from my guru. And he says, yoga is calming of the thinking instrument and healing of the psychic nature. And in these next 6 weeks, we are going to be talking a lot about the lower psychic nature. How to transform the lower psychic nature. I said, let me take this one thing, calming of the thinking instrument, for which he has given a simple technique of rhythmic breathing, because breath and the thinking instrument are connected. You breathe in rhythm, the thinking instrument should get calm. If I'm angry, my breathing changes. If I want to steal from someone, my breathing changes. So if I want to steal and my breathing changes, by changing my breathing, maybe this monkey up there gets calm. So I said, let me take this one thing and let me start working upon it. And I had 3 months of time before I had to leave home, take a camp, be in Bombay and come here. So in those 3 months, I mapped it out. And I would walk I have 200 coconut trees. And I would walk in the trees, between the rows of trees. And the first thing I said that this guy up here, and there's a row about 25 trees. And I said from here to here, if he says anything in between, I'll start from the first tree again. If he says anything in between, I will start from the first tree again. And I want to reach a state where this half an hour walk in 3 months, this guide does not say anything for half an hour. And this was my goal. Right? So if I'm talking, then am I implementing it in my life or not? And this monkey, as we know, chatters all the time. So I started. So I said that I can't be very strict with it. I can't tell you to sit down like you sit in meditation. That would be raping the poor old monkey. So I said, let me just start with something easy. So I started with the rhythm. And I said, 1, 2, 3, I breathe in. 5, 6, I breathe out. So I said, you've got to come back home at 1. 2, 3, 5, 6, you're allowed to do what you want. You can think of anything. Think maybe you're a king or whatever, daydream, you're allowed. I told the monkey, you're allowed, I'm giving you. But one, you've got to be home again. So I didn't keep the music. I arranged my walking in such a way that I was walking in that rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And at 1, I would see that the monkey has come back home. Pause. 2, 3, 5, 6, it can think of anything. It can think of the stock market, whether who's going to be the president after Obama or whatever. Doesn't make any difference who's the president. Right? I was just telling Kanubhai yesterday when we were coming in the car, there was one young boy selling newspapers at the street signal over there, and there was one small headline over there, Zuma on fire. So I said, Kanubhai, 5 years ago when I came to South Africa, this was the same headline in the paper. He's still burning, it looks like. Nobody's put out the fire as yet. It doesn't make any difference. You read a paper of today or you read 5 years ago, what difference does it make? There's no difference at all. The quality of man, the human being, is still the same. The quality of the lower psychic nature is still the same. What has transformed with all our education, with all our so-called culture? Some inner revolution has to happen. Some deep inner transformation has to happen. And this is what I try to bring to you. It is a science which has come from my Guru. It really doesn't belong to me. And I know this science is very rare because the way he has given it to me, I've been through so many teachers in my life. It's very rare to have it in such a scientific way, the way he has given it to me, which I'm just sharing with you. Anyway, so I started with this 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And it slowly became very easy. Now try to understand, we have 2 kinds of drifts up here. One drift, I drift. Okay, tomorrow I'll buy this stock in the stock market. Then with the money I'll buy this. Then of course I'll do this and this and this. And I forget where the drift started from. I forget where the drift started from. Now this is a very poor state of, I don't know how many of us are in this state, but it's a very, And the second is I'm able to come back to where the drift started from. So I'm drifting over here, I'll do this, I'll do that, the monkey is going here, there, and suddenly you wake up and you say, oh, I started from here. And you're able to go through every link in the chain. It's 2 kinds of drifts. So, I try to work on the first kind of drift, that at 1 you've got to come back home, 2, 3, 5, 6 you're allowed to drift. And within a few days, I was getting 100 out of 100. So I said, now let's go a little higher into this. And I said, now in 1 row, not a single drift. So I would go 1 row. If the monkey started drifting, anything. Now in all this, visualization is allowed. Thinking is not allowed. No chattering is allowed. I can see the number 1. But if the monkey inside says the number 1, start from the first tree again. If my man has put some water in a wrong way and it has come onto the path where I walk, that has gone out of the, channel in which the coconut trees have to have the water, and suddenly the monkey should not go back. Go back. So I started doing that. So 1 row I would go, no monkey chattering. The next row I'd say, okay, you have a holiday. You're allowed to chatter. And slowly I came to a state where even 1 row, no chattering, absolutely. So I said, now this is too easy, let's do something more difficult. So then, I will, as you know, I do trade in the stock market. So I would sit and I trade the 1 minute charts. So I'm trading small 2-3 minute time frames, movements in the chart. small micro trends. I'm very good at it. So I would take a trade which was a very dangerous trade, which the monkey would keep on going, what has happened to that trade? What has happened to that trade? And I'd go for a walk. And now I tell the monkey, if you think about the trade, you're in trouble. And then I would walk for half an hour. And if the monkey spoke even once in that half an hour, I'd say no going back to the trade. Another 10 minutes. Came to a state where the monkey was totally calm. I'm just talking of the last 3 months. Suddenly, in that 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, I would be walking and I would feel the movement of the wind, movement of the breeze coming from the sea because the farm is on the sea. And I'd suddenly feel the deep inner contraction and expansion of life. That everything, every movement in nature is moving in a harmonic rhythm. Whether it is a tidal wave, which can bring death to lakhs of people, whether it is a famine, and suddenly I saw that nature's beauty, this intrinsic rhythm of nature, it is nature's way of balancing so many things. And she has her own intelligence. Man takes water and brings a garden in a desert. He creates a beautiful garden in a desert. And nature in her rhythm is suddenly saying that, oh, but I needed this desert. It used to give me a certain kind of heat inside. It used to give me a certain kind of dryness inside. And now that man has brought through his intelligence a garden in this desert, let me create a desert somewhere else. And suddenly you will see a war somewhere. And man does not realize, he does not realize how he has to live with nature. And in that movement, I could see that this rhythm which the Guru has given is not just a rhythm of breath, it is the intrinsic rhythm of expansion and contraction in the universe. That when we use the word that is in this rhythm. Prana, prana, the going forth of the breath, prana, up, the going back of the breath. This going forth and going back is the basic rhythm of the universe. This is called as Akash Tattva. We go forth and we go round and round. And this, whether it is science or whether it is spirituality, the law is the same. Science says that there were gases, the gases had a center, everything revolved around those gases and galaxies were formed. The law is the same. And I could sense and feel that rhythm. And I suddenly realized that this small technique which he has given, just the perfect practice of that technique can bring about such a great transformation in our lives. Such a great understanding of the basic intelligence and harmony in nature, that nothing is wayward. A tidal wave here or an earthquake here, or war over here, people suffering. Oh, there's so much of suffering in the Middle East. So much of suffering. And with man's cunningness, he adds fuel to the suffering. But when we look at it from the eyes of nature, we see that in the last 200 years, man has raped nature just to fulfill his own greed. He has not learned to live with nature, to live in harmony with nature, to live in rhythm with nature. But that cannot happen through studying books. That cannot happen through the path of science. Because in the path of science is always to learn more outside in the physical world. And the physical world is a very small, minute part of nature. have to go within. And that is why science is confined to what we call as Bhulok. The speed of light is the limit of science, nothing beyond the speed of light. That is their skin, that is their boundary. And they cannot go beyond that because they cannot go inside. Attention has to move inside. So attention moves outside, it is science. Attention moves inside, it is self-knowledge. Not the knowledge of books. So we are going to learn in these few months what is self-observation, how to take attention inside. I'm going to talk a little bit more of those walks of mine which I was taking. So then I said that, okay, this monkey is calm, but what about extracting consciousness? What is consciousness? Can I extract consciousness? Calming of the monkey is a stepping stone to consciousness. Meditation is a stepping stone to consciousness. Meditation does not guarantee consciousness. So that which is observing everything is consciousness. That which is the background to everything is consciousness. The screen of life on which everything is being played. You, me and everything is being played on some massive screen. And that massive screen is a miniature inside. And if we can become that screen, just the presence, just to be, ho, banune, apu khali hoa, just to be. But we keep on becoming. The servant comes, we become the boss. The wife comes, we become the husband. The whole day we are in this process of becoming. And not for a moment are we in a state of being, not becoming anything. And in that state of being, as it grows more and more powerful, suddenly you become the background to everything that is happening in your psychic structure. You are just a watcher. You have separated from everything. And I said, let me make this effort now to separate. My last birthday was my 60th birthday. And I said, now is the time to retire. It's time for the tortoise to start pulling its tentacles inside. And so I've been cutting down as much as possible on where all I'm going. A time where now everything has to be defaced completely, total. Nothing should remain. When we go from this world, everything is over. We've dissolved completely. Not even a footprint is left behind. This footprint that we leave behind is called Shesh. Vishnu is sleeping on Shesh, the remainder. We don't want the remainder. Nothing to leave behind. And so I said, now is the time, now a process of total dissolution. Nothing should remain. Can I separate? Can I separate? Now the art of separation would be in allowing the daydream to happen and totally separating and watching from far away. Now you're not trying to calm the mind. You're not trying to calm the monkey. You're not bothered about whether you're daydreaming or not daydreaming. You're standing aside. You've stepped outside the mind. And you're looking at your mind as if you're looking from a mountain far away. And I said, is this possible? And I started taking those walks, allowing the monkey to daydream. Some days I would make a very, what you call, artistic daydream, a creative daydream. And I would let the monkey start moving on that track. And I would slowly withdraw myself without upsetting the monkey in any way. And a point came where the monkey was chattering and I was sitting far away. And all this I was able to do in the last 3 months. So I'm wondering, what have we been doing in the last year? Have we been working on ourselves? Have we been working on ourselves? We will not use the word sadhana, we will use the word work. Are we working on ourselves? Now, to work on ourselves, what is right effort? What is right effort? So today we are going to talk a little bit about effort. We've got 15 minutes more, and we'll just talk a little bit about effort, and then tomorrow we'll continue. We're going to take small topics this time. In the list which was mentioned, one thing has not been written, and that is I would like to talk about the three forces. And I have not taken that subject in detail even in these 4 years. Especially the second force, what we call tamago. Because all the obstacles in our life are the play of tamas. The play of tamas. And why do obstacles come in our life? What seeds do we sow that we invite the obstacles in our life? Whether they are physical obstacles in the form of health, whether they are psychological obstacles in the form of relationship, whether they are mental obstacles in the form of our thinking, blocks in our thinking. Right? How do these obstacles come in? Nothing in our life can come haphazard. There is nothing like a coincidence in existence. Everything happens according to law. If today's suffering has come to meet me, then somewhere I have invited that suffering. So I want to talk about the three forces, how the three forces work, what is tamas, what is the second force, how it comes to meet us, and how we can overcome the second force, what it means to see the third force in life. We'll talk a little bit about effort, right effort. A little more in 1 year. Now, do we have an aim in life? આપણા જીવનમાં કોઈ લક્ષ્ય છે? What does aim do? It gives us direction in life. Many people say they have no aim in life. I remember I started my spiritual journey with Osho many years ago. I'm talking about 1972, 73. And in those days, Osho used to give sannyas. And Osho had a profound teaching, a great master. And one of the things he used to say is that the way of the white cloud, your life should become the way of the white cloud. No personal desire. The wind takes the white cloud. You're so relaxed in life. You're so surrendered in life that you just move like the white cloud. The white cloud has no desire of its own. So Osho people, the followers would come, oh, we have no aim in life, we are just going. And they didn't realize it takes many years of practice to first become a white cloud. Of course, all the disciples interpret the Guru only from their level of understanding. Right? And it cannot be otherwise. So even if we say we have no aim in our life, we all have many hidden aims in life. If we are ill, we definitely want to stay alive. Right? So definitely we have some aim in life. Whenever we are faced with a situation, we always gravitate towards comfort. We won't go towards discomfort. Right? So there's definitely some subconscious aim which is taking us through life. We definitely do not want to lose our money in life. Yeah. So that aim is there. Maybe many people say, oh, I have no aim of earning money. But of course, if you say your bank balance becomes zero tomorrow, right? There's an aim. I remember many, many years ago, I was losing a lot of money in the stock market. And my mother was very worried. And she said, what's this kid doing? So there was this great person, very beautiful guru. And he used to see the photo and he would say something about the person. So my mother sent somebody to that guru with my photo. I said, you please ask him, why is he losing so much money in the stock market? And then the guru looked at the photo. So you go back and tell the mother that, first of all, ask the son, does he want to earn in the stock market? He's not interested in earning. Of course he's going to lose money. Deep down, many years ago, this way of the white cloud, talking about an aim in life. Can we surrender to nature totally? Totally. I'm not asking you to do it. This is an idea I'm putting in front of you. I'm just putting an idea in front of you. Don't do it. We have no bank balance. We don't know where our next meal is going to come from. We don't know where our next set of clothes is going to come from. And can we surrender to nature? And this was something in me at that time, that I want to come to a state where I have nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm totally dependent. And then can there be trust in nature? I know that I'm going to feel hungry at 4 o'clock and she will look after me. Then, only then will we realize the divinity in nature. But till we have something to fall back upon, don't give away your bank balance, right? Till we have something to fall back upon. Then we are, we are just, what you call, man manavani vatu. Man manavani. Right? So this was something in me. I'm not asking you to do it. Right? But we have subconscious aims in life, even if we say we have no aim in life. Just below the conscious mind where the subconscious lingers, the crocodile a little bit up and a little bit down, these aims are lingering. And we always move in life towards those aims. But in life, if we have a good job, maybe we are studying to pass some exam, then we'll say we have an aim in life. And this aim is giving us direction. Right? Now, I will call these as life aims. These are not work aims. They have nothing to do with spirituality. Whether I'm passing an exam, whether I'm doing a job, has nothing to do with spirituality. Right? Spirituality is only interested in one thing, consciousness. Am I watching from far, or am I involved in what I'm doing? Right? And you cannot watch from far till the monkey is calm. So first step is to calm the monkey and then extract yourself from the monkey. Right? Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you that any aim in life, what comes with the aim? You have to tell me the answer. What comes with the aim? I want to pass in an exam, get a degree, I want to have a good job, or I've already got a good job and I want to keep this good job. What comes with any of life aims? Responsibility and sacrifice. Sacrifice. Right? To keep my aim, I have to sacrifice. If I want to pass an exam, then I definitely have to sacrifice the night cereal. Right? Okay? So I have to sacrifice something for that exam. If I want to reach to my job at 7 in the morning, then maybe my son is going to school at 7:30, but then I can't, get him dressed for school. I have to sacrifice that. Right? So, any aim in life, the very formation of an aim, koi par lakshya, eni sathe tyag anivarya છે. It has to come. It has to come. So, but these are life aims. These are life aims. What is the meaning of the word sacrifice in relation to aim? Sacrifice in relation to aim. Discarding the useless and keeping that which helps me to achieve my aim. Discarding the useless, right? And we're going to go into this because the definition which Patanjali is going to put over here is Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Tan Nirodha. How is that state of yoga achieved? How is that state of yoga achieved? Through Abhyas and Vairagya. Whether Patanjali is saying it or Krishna is saying it in the Gita, the words are the same. What is the meaning of Abhyas and what is the meaning of Vairagya? Abhyas is conscious effort. Vairagya is voluntary suffering. Voluntary suffering. And so conscious effort. What constitutes conscious effort? Right? Some lady, she goes to a physical therapist and says that the physical therapist will say, you've got to exercise every day. But say, I exercise the whole day. You see, my bedroom is upstairs, the kitchen is downstairs. And I walk up the stairs and I come down the stairs and I walk up the stairs. I'm exercising the whole day. But you say, that doesn't work. You have to make a special effort. 20 minutes, 30 minutes of special exercise. A special effort. Then your weight will maybe go down. Right? So, in life there are two kinds of effort. There's conscious effort and mechanical effort. All effort concerned with life's aims is mechanical effort. Like he said in the beginning, all efforts concerned with life's, what does it mean? He gave the answer in the beginning. What does it mean? What does it mean? Any effort done with the concept of reward or punishment is mechanical effort. Is mechanical effort. Now we are going into dangerous territory. Yeah? Right? I'm sitting in a department store and there's so many beautiful things around me. Do I steal out of my understanding? Do I not steal out of my understanding, or do I not steal because I have a reputation? Maybe the police will see me. There are cameras everywhere, etc., etc. Right? Now, if it is done out of reward or punishment, it is mechanical effort. That is why he said, karma is a very deadly word. Deadly word. Right? And it's free for all. Anybody can interpret karma in any way. So, now what comes with this? Now how will we define conscious effort? How will we define conscious effort? And we'll use the word attention. And I'm going to finish over here because our time is nearly up. How will we define conscious effort? We'll go into this deeper tomorrow. What effort constitutes conscious effort? And how do we come to that state? How do we come to that state? And use the word attention. Attention and will must be free. attention and will must be free. Tomorrow you're coming to visit me at my home and I put all my things in order. Right? Is that conscious effort? No, because I'm frightened of what you're going to say when you come to my home. Right? Or if my wife says you better put your room in order, definitely it's not conscious effort. Right? So what constitutes conscious effort? Because the attention is always on the reward or punishment. The attention is always focused on the reward or punishment. The will is always focused on the reward or punishment. એને કીધું ને શરૂઆતમાં કર્મનો અધિકાર છે પણ કર્મ ફળનો અધિકાર નથી. અરે બાપરે. The attention is always focused on the reward or punishment. Right? Now, which attention is free of being hypnotized by reward or punishment? Can you tell me? Which attention? Which will is free of being, what you call, identified with something in the future or the past? Which will?
Service to mankind.
There's always a feeling of I have done something good. There's always the reward there. Even if you give 5 rupees to a beggar, I have done something good. The reward is the feeling of meritoriousness. How will you free your attention of this focus on reward or punishment?
Doing your duty.
You're stuck with your duty. Stuck with the duty. Tell me, which attention is free? Come on. This is the 5th year. 5th year. And we're going to talk about this because we're going to talk about self-observation this time. What is the technique of self-observation? How to divide ourselves into 2, I and it. And I is watching it. Which attention is free of all reward or punishment?
Sir, your attention is inward.
Inward, and what comes about through that inward attention? The observation of what is happening to the outward attention. Right? I see a beautiful girl on the road, my attention goes like this. Gone, hypnotized. Reward or punishment. But is there something within me which is observing that? Then that attention which I am using to observe that attention is never identified with any form or reward or punishment. The attention which observes attention. Don't give it any names, witnessing and sakshi bhav and all that. Otherwise, forget it, you've not learnt anything. Because this monkey has it doesn't want to do anything, it's very lazy, so it labels everything. Very easily labels everything. Right? So, we are going to learn how to divide our attention into 2, like he said. 1 arrow of attention on life, 1 arrow on the presence within, the divinity within. And it doesn't go immediately to the divinity within. 1 arrow on my reaction within. I'm going to give you one last small story and then we'll stop over here. What goes on within, and it is there that we extract consciousness. So, some days ago, a good friend came, he and his wife, they came to Madhopur and they put up there. Now we have a good hotel in our small town. So it's very easy to invite people to come to us and put up in the hotel, right? So it's a comfortable hotel. So they phoned and they said, we've come, and they'd come from far away. And this monkey chatters, and this monkey chatters through habit. Habit is one of the things which keeps us asleep. And immediately the monkey starts chattering, and it says that yesterday I talked to your son. He didn't tell me that you have already left home and are coming over here. You know this, we have it inside. We want to give it back to that person. That maybe there's some problem between you and the son. Right? This is the way the monkey is. And this happens with everyone. And suddenly you pause over there and say, look, identification. Can we bring in inner attention? And at that moment, that habit pattern which makes us speak in that way, which keeps us asleep, we pause over there. We don't give it food by saying it on the phone that, oh, I talked to your son yesterday. Right? And in that pause, we suddenly extract consciousness. Consciousness. It is this consciousness which is divine. It is this which separates us from life. I'm going to give you one more thing. And this we are going to forecast what this monkey says. We are going to forecast what this monkey says. Supposing I see a pattern in the stock market. And I say, okay, let's buy a couple of calls tomorrow. So I buy 2 calls tomorrow. And the day after tomorrow they double in price. What is the first thing the monkey says? Come on, easy, very easy. Why did you buy only 2? Why did you buy only? Can you see habit? It is habit which keeps us in this hypnosis of life. These habits in our psyche. These are fixed pathways in our brain. And at that moment, if you can wake up, oh, he's going to say this, wake up, detach, bring in consciousness, the pathway in the brain changes, you change. This is transformation of the lower psychic nature. And we don't need to go anywhere to learn this. We don't need to go to a guru. We don't need to go to an ashram. We are going to learn how to do it in daily living. We live this life, do our duty, and extract consciousness. Our way is the way of life. Right? Our way of life. And we don't have to do tyag of anything. Whatever suffering comes in our life, we will use that suffering to create the heat of tapa. And in the heat of tapa, the impurities which are binding the soul will dissolve, and the soul will realize that it has come from a divine source. This is what we're going to do in the next 6 weeks. So I'll stop over here. It's been a pleasure. With God's grace, we'll meet again tomorrow evening. Thank you. Good night. Yesterday we talked about effort. I think we'll continue about effort in a few later sessions. Let us start with self-observation today. Yes, I want to go into the doctrine of many eyes. Let's take a scene from the Mahabharata. And Arjuna has come for Draupadi's Swayamvar. He has to shoot a fish which is rotating above him. But he has to shoot the fish by looking in the water below him. The fish is above him. In the pond below him, he only sees the reflection. The arrow is positioned upwards, but he is looking downwards. And the whole mystery of double-arrowed attention is in this scene from the Mahabharata. Even though the eyes are looking out, the attention is turned inward. And this is a new attitude to life. I'm looking out at you, but there's an arrow of attention inside. And it wants to pierce the eye of the fish. The fish lives in water. Water is our emotional body. But he's looking at the water outside. I'm looking at your emotions. Whether you are praising me, whether you are good to me. Then my attention is stuck outside. Then I'm not looking at the eye of the fish. The scene is very symbolic in the sense that what you're looking outside is just the reflection. And in this reflection, we are born, we grow up, we get married, we have children, and we build factories and have businesses and go to jobs. But everything that is happening in front of the eyes is a reflection. And in this reflection we are sad. We cry that somebody has died. Forget it is a reflection. And we are full of grief. So we get involved in this reflection which we call life. And Arjuna is looking into the reflection and he has to pierce the eye of the fish. And if he pierces the eye of the fish, that which he gets is Draupadi. Draupadi symbolizes the Kundalini Shakti, the transformation of sex energy. So, if we learn to divide our attention, one arrow of attention going out into the world, we have to live our lives. We have to do our jobs from morning to evening. We have to pay attention to our duties. So with one arrow of attention is outside, in the world, in the reflection, and one arrow of attention inside. And if there's one arrow of attention inside, something transforms. Something rises up within us. This is called the backward flowing method. એટલે વાત આપણે કરીએ છીએ મહાભારતની. સીન એ છે કે અર્જુન દ્રૌપદીના સ્વયંવરમાં આવેલો છે. સ્વયંવરની અંદર હાથમાં ધનુષ છે, બાણ છે, અને જે લક્ષ્ય છે એ એની ઉપર માછલીની આંખ છે. પણ એના તરફ જોવાનું નથી, જે જોવાનું છે એ પાણીની અંદર જોવાનું છે. એ માછલીની પ્રતિબિંબ પાણીની અંદર પડે છે. જોઈ રહ્યો છે પાણીની અંદર, પણ ધ્યાન આપવાનું છે માછલીની આંખની અંદર. આ બે શબ્દ આપણે જરા એનું વિશ્લેષણ કરશું. seeing and observing. These are two different words. He is seeing the fish. એ માછલી જોઈ રહ્યો છે. He is observing the eye. To see life and to observe inside. We'll go into these two words later.
જોવું
હવે
નિરીક્ષણ કરવું.
હાજી
ગુજરાતીમાં જોવું અને નિરીક્ષણ કરવું.
જોવું અને નિરીક્ષણ કરવું. જોવું અને નિરીક્ષણ કરવું. એ જો એનો તીર જો લાગી જાય તો એના બદલામાં એમને દ્રૌપદી મળે. તો જ્યારે ધ્યાન અંદર તરફ જાય છે એના બદલામાં આપણને દ્રૌપદી મળે છે. દ્રૌપદી એટલે કુંડલીની શક્તિ. કઈ રહી ગઈ? બરાબર, કઈ રહી ગયા? Kundalini symbolizes Shesh. Shesh. Vishnu is sleeping on Shesh, the Shesh Nag. My guru used to use two words, resultant intensity or resultant pattern. Let us try to put it in simple words. Either each moment the Kundalini rises or each moment we sow the seed of new karma. The choice is in our hands. If our attention is hypnotized in life, if our attention is only in the reflection, આપણું જો ધ્યાન પ્રતિબિંબમાં મોહિત જ છે, then each moment we are sowing the seed of new karma, and karma is bondage. You sow the seed, you have to eat the fruit. That is the law. But if the attention is inside also, then there is no sesh, nothing remains in the moment. And if in each moment nothing remains, there is no seed for future repetition. But something always remains. I meet you, but something remains with me that you did not treat me properly. મારી સાથે વ્યવહાર સરખો કર્યો નહીં. Something remains. This is called as sesh. My guru used to call this resultant pattern. Resultant pattern means you're sowing a new karma. That very thought that you did not treat me properly, it does not allow the Kundalini to rise. So, in this moment the choice is ours. If in this moment the attention goes inside to the eye of the fish, we marry Draupadi. And if we marry Draupadi, she is the Kundalini energy, no karma is born. It's very beautiful in the Mahabharata that even though Krishna and Arjuna were cousins, they had never met. They met after Draupadi's Swayamvar. After Arjuna had won the hand of Draupadi in the Swayamvar. It is in the Swayamvar that Krishna sees Arjuna for the first time. Of course, Krishna recognizes him. He knows that he and Arjuna have been together for so many lifetimes. But Arjuna is still the disciple. He does not know. So they are able to meet only after this Kundalini Shakti rises. Krishna symbolizes consciousness. For consciousness to rise in consciousness, to be able to rise in this life to that state which we call Krishna, to merge into that state. People merge through imagination. And they come and tell me, in my dream Krishna came and he was dancing. Right. And I keep wondering inside that definitely he must be crying. Because nobody wants to make an effort. Everybody wants it free of charge. Nobody wants to walk the path. Divide the attention. And when you divide the attention each moment in life, you're invoking the Kundalini energy. And if you're invoking the Kundalini energy, the byproduct is you meet Krishna, consciousness. So all sadhana starts with self-observation. Please understand, many people come to me and they say, in life we will do only bhakti. The very word bhakti means bhaja, to divide. The very word bhakti means to divide. Meera is saying, Mere to Girdhar Gopal, dusra na koi. She's saying one arrow of attention is on the inner consciousness, on the inner Krishna. She has divided herself. This is the key. Self-observation is the key. And each moment, if we start living our lives with this key of self-observation, we slowly climb this ladder of consciousness. This ladder of consciousness is the Gita, 700 slokas, 700 steps of the ladder. And the last slokas of the Gita where Sanjay is saying, okay, I have seen the most wondrous scene in this universe. Nothing can compare to what I have seen. And he's telling the blind king that I tell you that where there is Krishna and where there is Arjuna, there has to be victory. And he says, my eyes are full of tears because I keep remembering those moments. So we have to rise to that state. Of course, he was gifted with that state temporarily for a certain time by Vyasji. This is all very symbolic. Maybe some guru can gift it to us for a few moments. Open our eyes a little, that there is something beyond this physical world which the five senses are in. Actually, this world of the five senses is nothing but a prison. There is a way beyond, there is something beyond. So all self-observation, સ્વનિરીક્ષણ એ સાધનાની ચાવી છે. ભક્તિ કે તો ભક્ત જે છે એ વિભક્ત, ટુ ડિવાઇડ. કોઈ પણ માર્ગમાં યાત્રા કરશો, છેલ્લે ચાવી તો આ જ આવશે કે આપણે અટેન્શનનો આપણે બે ભાગ કરી શકીએ છીએ કે કેમ. હકીકતે બધાય ધર્મ તો ખાલી પગથિયા જ છે. પગથિયા ત્યાં સુધી છે જ્યાં સુધી આ માર્ગ ઉપર આપણે નથી આવતા. આ માર્ગ ઉપર આવી ગયા તો પગથિયાની જરૂર નથી. માર્ગ એક જ છે અને એ માર્ગ છે સેલ્ફ ઓબ્ઝર્વેશન. That is the only key. And if the guru leads to that key, it is right. And if the guru does not lead to that key, there is something wrong. If the religion leads to that key, the staircase is right. This is the key. And now the human brain, Amrano Manushya, it can understand this directly. Start working from this moment. Divide your attention. One attention, you're hearing me. One attention, try to see inside. Is there a presence? Is there are you sensing something which is behind all this hearing? Then we've started on the journey. That is all that has to be done. Nothing else has to be said. Everything we say will come back to this point. And one day we'll remember what we were, that we were already divine. That even when we were born, Krishna was there already. We'll just have to remember that. But to remember that, we'll have to pass through all this, stage by stage. So today I thought I'll talk a little bit about self-observation, and we'll go into the technique of self-observation. Now, just before we go into this, first of all, attention, even though I'm talking about dividing attention, in reality, attention cannot be divided. It is either out or either it is in. But like breath goes out and in, we slowly learn the technique of moving attention out and moving attention in. And we come to a state where a thin line of attention is nearly always in. It takes practice. For this, we must never forget our aim. Why we are here. Right? Why the soul has come here. Why did the soul seek a physical manifestation? Why did the soul seek a body? Don't forget that. It sought a body only for one thing, to realize its divine nature. Right? Which it already is. So all work, all sadhana starts with self-observation. There is outer attention and there is inner attention. Outer attention thi jeno janam થાય છે. What is born through outer attention we call science. The whole of science is the result of attention going deeper and deeper into the different states of matter, learning the laws of matter. The whole of adhyatma, the whole of spirituality, all the religions have come through attention going inside. And when attention goes inside, self-knowledge is the result. When attention goes outside, the knowledge of science is the result. This self-knowledge, as we practice this divided attention, self-observation, this self-knowledge will slowly become individual, very individual. Just now we are understanding the concept intellectually. આપણે મનથી આ વસ્તુ સમજીએ છીએ. પણ જ્યારે પ્રેક્ટિસ કરશું ત્યારે જે જ્ઞાન આવશે એ આપણી અનુભૂતિમાંથી જ્ઞાન આવશે. People come and talk, but I always want to see whether what they are talking is through implementation in practice or just read from books. And it's very easy to see the difference. So this is the key, self-observation. Now self-observation is not knowing. Many people come and say, I know I am angry. I know that I am a very negative person. This does not mean that I am observing my negativity. Please don't be under that illusion. They are poles apart. બંને વસ્તુ સરખી નથી. મને ખ્યાલ છે કે મારામાં ગુસ્સો બહુ છે. એ બસ મન બનાવવાની વાતો છે. Right? It's just a justification. I don't want to work on self. All of us are sitting over here. How many of us are practicing dividing attention at this moment? Then we have started the journey. Now, let us try to see this difference. I say I do not like him. Mane e gamto nathi. આ knowing છે. I know. Now, I divide myself. One arrow is on him. Okay. This person has come to meet me. I don't like this person. What is the other arrow on? What is the other arrow on? Attention નું બીજું તાર કઈ દિશામાં છે, શું જોઈ રહ્યું છે? એક કે આ ભાઈ મને ગમતા નથી. I don't like this person. Where is the other arrow? છેડો. બીજો છેડો ક્યાં છે? શું જોઈ રહ્યું છે? Now we are beginning the journey. And we are going to work with this thing we call dislike. So what is it observing? Not. It is observing the self, it is observing the dislike. It is observing the dislike. Right? So one arrow of attention on the person, one arrow of attention on the dislike. Now, what do we say inside at this point? I am in a state of dislike. હું કઈ સ્થિતિની અંદર છું? અણગમાની સ્થિતિની અંદર છું. I am in a state of dislike. Now, if the observation is impartial, what will happen? What will happen? The personal has to go away. The personal will go away. Then the observation becomes impartial. Nirpeksh. Self-observation has to be impartial. ત્યાં અંદર વાતો કરશો તો બને કહેજો. બોલો શું થશે? બોલો. What will happen? And this is the first feeling which will happen to everyone who practices this. What happens to the dislike? What happens to the dislike? Okay, I'll take it another way. I'm looking at him. I say I dislike this person. And then I'm looking inside. And I say, I am in a state of dislike. હું અણગમાની સ્થિતિમાં છું. હવે it becomes impartial. એટલે he goes away. He is no longer in the picture. But the dislike is still there. The dislike is. So I am now looking at the dislike and I'm trying to look further inside. Who is looking at the dislike? Now what happens in this state? Because it has to be impartial. As long as I dislike him, it is not impartial. નિરપેક્ષ નથી. કારણ કે એ છે. So I'll say I dislike him and I like him. Right? Then, so what will happen in this point? Will the dislike go away? Will something happen with the dislike? The first thing should happen over here. What happens to that dislike? Supposing we go on the road somewhere forget the role. Supposing we are seeing a movie. Say we are seeing a movie. And suddenly we see this beautiful person. I don't know, in the old days there was one movie, Lost Horizons. I don't know if anybody, it was a black and white movie. And this person goes to Tibet and he lives in this dreamland called Shangri-La. And he falls in love with a beautiful girl over there. And he wants to escape from Shangri-La with this girl. And this girl is 700 years old. And as they escape from there, they're coming down from the mountain. And slowly this girl, she starts becoming old. She starts becoming old. And he's looking at this is the girl, same girl whom I fell in love with her, and suddenly the hair is growing grey and the teeth are going out, and of course she completely disintegrates by the time they come down the mountain. Right? Now we are looking at the anger. We are looking at the dislike. What happened? What will happen in this state? Above the mountain, he loved her. Below the mountain, he started disliking her. What is happening over here? Yes, sir.
Sir, you realize that the problem lies within.
Right.
Outside.
Yeah, but I want just a question. Where does the dislike go? On the self. You will say Rajan is in dislike, but look at the horrible state Rajan is in. Can you see the acids flowing through his body because of this dislike? Can you see the inner posture because of this dislike? Can you see that beautiful person who was on the top of the mountain has become an old man because of this dislike? Suddenly that dislike, I dislike him, will be I dislike myself. I dislike myself. And this is the beginning of self-observation. Now you're really observing impartially, because you're saying Rajan is in a state of dislike, and dislike is this horrible, ugly state. It is the gutter. It is worse than the gutter.
So Rajendra, if you're looking at someone, you dislike that person, the person is gone, and now you still have that sense and feeling of that dislike. But then, where does that come from, manifest from? Is it, and how long has it been there for you to have dissolved that dislike?
Atit anagata swarupta asti dharmanam ardhva vedat. The past, atit, and the future, anagata, exist in the now. Exist in the now. The form you see is just the result of some characteristic getting some water.
Is that the eyes?
All these patterns existed. All these patterns existed. Somebody came and gave a little water to one of the patterns. Somebody came and gave a little water to some of the pattern, one pattern. And that pattern came out and I became that pattern. And now I'm separating from that. I say, how can I become this? I'm trying to look at myself from far. And I now, instead of disliking him, I'll dislike myself. Okay, why are you sitting in the gutter? Dislike is the gutter. Anger is the gutter. Why are you sitting there? Am I coming across in this? There will be an inner change, an inner transformation. The dislike will change 180 degrees. It was there, now it is here. Life is a mirror. Life is a mirror.
એના કારણ સાથે સમજાવો નથી.
એટલે
માણસને અણગમો થાય છે ને ગમો થાય છે એનું જે મેઇન રીઝન છે એની સાથેનો કોઈ મનગમતું કર્યું હોય તેના માટે આપણને જે ગમતું હોય ઈચ્છા પ્રમાણે હોય, પોતાના સ્વાર્થને અનુરૂપ હોય, તો એના માટે એને ગમો થાય. અને પોતાને જે ધારણા હોય, પોતાની અપેક્ષા હોય, પોતાની જે કંઈ સ્વાર્થ હોય જેને એનાથી વિપરીત એ કરે એટલે એના માટે અણગમો કે ઓલું થાય. આ મેઇન રીઝન આ છે ગમવાનું, જે પ્રેક્ટિકલ છે. પ્રેક્ટિકલી કોઈ બી વ્યક્તિને મોસ્ટ કોમન વસ્તુ આનામાં કોઈને મને કેમ નથી ગમતું એ માણસ કે મારી ઈચ્છા પ્રમાણે કે મારી ધારણા પ્રમાણે કે મારી માન્યતા પ્રમાણે કે મારી અંદર જે છે એનાથી ઓપોઝિટ કરે તો એ નથી ગમતો. એને અનુરૂપ ગમે તો ગમે છે.
એટલે એમને મારા વખાણ ન કહે.
હા,
એટલે એની ઉપર મને શું છે? અણગમો છે. બરાબર છે,
મૂળ કારણ.
હા, રાઈટ. હું કહેવા શું માંગુ છું કે એ અણગમોનો પેટર્ન તો મારી અંદર પડેલું છે. એને વખાણ ન કર્યા, એને પાણી, એ પેટર્નને પાડ્યું. એ વ્યક્ત થયું. ધર્મના અર્ધભેદા. It took a form. But it was already lying there. Atit anagata swarupta asti. It was lying over there. Right? He gave it a little water and it came out. Supposing it was the opposite. What would I do? Supposing he dislikes me and I come to his home and he's mumbling, okay, where did this guy go? Come over here. He's mumbling under his breath and he'll throw down the glass like this and I'll ask him for water and he'll fill only half the glass and give it to me like this. Won't I say, isn't this person in the gutter? હું કહીશ કે નહીં કરું? That is what I'm going to say, not to him. Now I'm looking at myself from far away. Try to see what I'm trying to say over here. હું મારી જાતને એ જેમ એને જોઉં છું, હું એમ મારી જાતને જોઉં છું કે આ વ્યક્તિ રાજેન અણગમામાં આવી ગયો હોય, પાણીનો ગ્લાસ અડધો પછાડી દીધો, યાર ઢોળી નાખ્યું. I remember in the old days, people would go to people's house and ask, can I make a phone call? Right? So, you see someone coming from far, he's going to come to make a phone call, so you'll pull the wire of the phone out. The phone is not working. So, see ourselves. What I'm seeing in him, I'm seeing in myself. So now the arrow of dislike goes from him onto me, and that creates what is called as divine. What do we call it? Discontent. A kind of divine discontent. Can I be free of this? Can I be free? This is the beginning of the pathway to moksha, the pathway to freedom. Can I be free of this? Where is this coming from? So, first of all, observing is not knowing. Many of us know that we are angry. Very few of us observe our anger. Now, to be able to observe, what kind of attention will we need? Even supposing, forget inner observation, self-observation, in ordinary observation. Many of us go to office every day. We sit in our car and we drive, and if I ask you, you've driven through your street, how many windows does the house next to you have? And you've been driving past for 20 years. don't know. Because you are seeing, you are not observing. You are seeing, we are not observing. Seeing is zero attention. Observing is directed attention. You are holding the attention. Whether you are observing anything outside or whether you are observing anything inside, you have to hold on to the attention. And it's very difficult to do it all 24 hours. You have to do it for periods of time. You have to take out 15-20 minutes where you are holding that attention. What is happening in my mind each second? What thought is coming? What reaction is coming? What emotion is coming? What sensation is coming? You take out those 10 minutes, those 15 minutes, and try to keep a record. Just write down in 5 minutes what you saw in those 10 minutes. And initially it will be a little difficult because you're putting all your energy into it. And this monkey up here is very cunning. It'll quieten down. It'll tell you what a good boy am I. So it'll take a little time. But once we start this, we are holding our attention there. Slowly we'll come to a state where we are just holding a small line of relaxed attention and we go about our daily duties in life. And this attention which we are holding inside is the first ray of light. It is that light which goes into our subconscious, into our unconscious mind. Because each moment it is that unconscious mind which is coming out. જે બહાર નીકળે છે unconscious mind છે અને આ પ્રકાશનું કિરણ અંદર ગયું. Please understand, anything in life we do without this divided attention is mechanical. Mechanical. Whether we are praying in a temple, whether we are watching a movie, unless we are making an effort to remain in this state of consciousness, it becomes mechanical effort. And that is why this is so important. Please practice holding the attention. That is why the prism exercise is very important. Very, very important. That 5 minutes which you're investing in the prism is allowing you to throw the ray of attention inside. Now, just as we have 5 senses which relate to the world outside, આપણી પાસે 5 ઇન્દ્રિયો છે જે બહારના જગત સાથે સંબંધમાં આવે છે. We now develop one more sense which is looking inside all the time. And that is what we will call as observing eye, because now I'm going to go into the doctrine of eyes from tomorrow. We will call it as observing eye. We will see that many times the eyes are changing in this guest house. And within the eyes changing, there are multiple eyes. I'll try to give an example. You know, supposing we go to buy some clothes. So we'll go to the shop to buy clothes and we'll say, okay, I have got to see whether this fits me. So we go into the changing room and we see whether that pant or that shirt is fitting. Now, I'm sitting in office. I go home and the wife comes to meet me. What has happened? What has happened? In relation to this example, what has happened? Well, now we are practicing self-observation. We are practicing self-observation. In relation to this example, what has happened? I have gone into the changing room. I've taken out the clothes of the boss which I was in the office, and I've worn the clothes of husband. Does anyone see this? Or it just happens automatically? Right? Does it happen automatically, or do you see this? To see this is consciousness. To see this is to enjoy the game of life. Otherwise you've forgotten that you went into the changing room. When the sun comes, you go back into the changing room, you take out the clothes of husband and you put on the clothes of father. Do you see this changing each moment? Each moment the I is changing in the guest house. ગુજરાતીમાં બોલું કે સમજાયું? Backbenchers. આ દેખાય છે કે હર ક્ષણે એક કપડું ઉતાર્યું ને બીજું કપડું પહેરી લીધું, પણ ખબર જ નથી પડતી. There is no pause. Everything in life is happening so fast કે એક રોલ છૂટ્યો અને બીજો રોલ ચાલુ થાય છે. We don't see it. We think it is the same person. It is not the same person. Now, within the dream, is there a dream? Within the dream, is there a dream? I went into the, what do you call, dressing room. I wore the clothes of father, the dream. I wore the clothes of father, the dream, and I came out and now I'm relating to my son through the clothes of the father. Now, the clothes of the father is a dream. આ જે કપડા આપણે પહેર્યા છે એ સપનું છે. હવે સપનાની અંદર સપનું કયું છે? Come on. Which is the dream within the dream. And the characters within the dream are the same throughout. They have never changed in history. They've never changed in history. They have an autobiography. The characters in the dream. The yogi cannot have an autobiography because the yogi has dissolved his ego. How can he have an autobiography? Of course, we have a famous book, The Autobiography of Yogi. Right? How can he have an autobiography? If the ego is dissolved, how can you have an autobiography? Right? So, tell me now, these characters, within the dream there is another dream. And which characters? And we are relating to the son. The dream is father and son. Okay. Now, within that, which characters are coming? Supposing the son has not done the homework. Now, which character is coming on the stage? Come on. Huh? Right? If you don't do your homework, I'll teach you a lesson, and I am the king and you have to definitely obey me. Oh, has Duryodhan come? Right? Has Duryodhan come? And supposing I take a stick and start whacking the sun. Has Dushasan come? Can you see in that one role which I am playing of just the father, there are so many inner multiple roles, 101. And this is the beauty of the Mahabharata. Each moment, those characters can become a part of any of the relative roles we are playing in life. And once we start this whole process of self-observation, the Mahabharata is not a dead book of some 5,000 or 10,000 years old. It is moment to moment we are living it and understanding it. And that is why it is the most complete text all round. Because everything that is needed for that spiritual unfoldment is in that one text. One day we'll become one again. We divide ourselves into two. Two become many. Two will become many. And one day we'll merge back into that. The many become one again. This is the journey. This is the journey. We must first divide ourselves into two. So there must be a feeling of observing I inside. The feeling is as if we have met a very long lost friend. There is a feeling of nostalgia. There is a feeling of nostalgia. You know, when you sit and you listen to old songs, there's a feeling of nostalgia. Romanch. અને થોડા વર્ષો પહેલા એક પિક્ચર આવે, હું કોઈ દિવસ હિન્દી પિક્ચર જોઉં નહીં. એટલે એક મને કે મદન મોહનનું સંગીત છે, વીર ઝારા પિક્ચર. મદન મોહનનું સંગીત એટલે જોવા જવું પડે, એટલે ભૂલથી જોવા હાલત બગડી ગઈ પિક્ચરની. Right. So there's a feeling of what you call nostalgia, romance. Can you see the Gita, this great text, it ends with the feeling of nostalgia. Sanjay is saying, I again and again I remember those scenes of Arjuna and Krishna, and tears come in my eyes and my hair stands up and I'm filled with this feeling of romance. He says, I can't forget those scenes, Sanjay is saying. Okay, my life is fulfilled with what I have seen, he's saying. That feeling of nostalgia. I have found my long lost friend. That observing I is Krishna. I have found my long lost friend. And we will see in this whole process of many eyes that every moment the eyes change, and there will be times when there is no observing I. I am again getting angry on him and I have forgotten that I am looking into the reflection. And I am getting angry on him and I am telling him, and suddenly again the observing I comes back. But the other eyes will keep on changing. The observing I is always the same. And this gives it that feeling of my friend, my elder brother is here. The observing I. Mere to Girdhar Gopal dusra. Observing I. She is saying, that is always the same. The others change, she is saying. Meera is saying. Now, what will happen? This observing I, like we have 5 senses outside which are looking at the world inside, it is always looking at the world inside of us. It is like the 6th sense now. Not the 6th sense of ESP. Not the 6th sense of ESP. It is a different. The Yoga Sutra starts with this. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. The drashtuhu, the one who is seeing. The one who is seeing. The soul knows how to see, it does not know how to do. The spirit knows how to see, it does not know how to do. That is why it creates an instrument called the ego to do for it and report to him. So, this I which is looking inside, what changes? What can you imagine what will change in our life? What will change in our life? What overnight, what kind of transformation will happen in our life? What will happen? So, આપણા જીવનમાં કઈ જાતનું રૂપાંતરણ થશે? till now we were living a life dependent on what the five senses were observing and giving us as data. The data flowing in through the five senses. Now we have another sense inside which is also giving us maybe a totally different data. A totally different data. And it's going to say many things which bother us. And that is why the Gita starts with the first chapter, Arjun Vishad Yog, because when Krishna comes in his life, many things which start bothering him. It's such a beautiful this thing that here Yudhishthir is playing this game of dice. He's playing the game of dice. Right? And every moment this game of dice is going on in our life. And every moment we give up the kingdom of consciousness, everything which is really ours for everything which is a reflection. It is not Yudhishthir playing, it is we playing each moment. And each moment life comes with an event in front of us. Navi ghatna laine saame aave and consciousness je આપણું real celestial home છે એના ભોગે આપણે અહીંયા કંઈક મને જો મળી જાતો હોય તો something I can get out of this reflection. Maybe some money I'll get out of this reflection. Maybe some power I'll get out of this. Maybe I'll become the president of the country or something of that sort. And in that we gamble away everything which is really ours. Can we see this? This game of dice which is going on. And when when Yudhishthir is playing this game of dice, the point comes where Draupadi is going to be put into the... Draupadi is that energy on which consciousness will come. The Kundalini Shakti. And it is that energy. And in its lower form, it is sex energy, which we are losing each moment through excitement. We are putting it in the game of dice. Each moment. I see something new in the shop. I am excited. Oh, I got to buy this. Gone. The game of dice. I put Draupadi in the game of dice. Lost. And at that very moment when he's putting Draupadi in the game of dice, Krishna is fighting a war with Shalva. And he's fighting this war with Shalva, and if he had been awake at that time, we would have never put Draupadi in the gamble. No? But at that moment when Yudhishthir is, putting Draupadi there, Shalva's weapon hits Krishna and he falls unconscious. He goes into a swoon. And at that moment, Draupadi is. So symbolic all this is. So symbolic. And it's a beautiful description of how he fights Shalva. There is first comes the city of copper and they fight. This is all in the imagination. And they fight through the city of copper. Then comes the city of silver and they fight through the city of silver. Then comes the city of gold and they fight through the city of gold. And it's a very beautiful description. One day we'll go into that. Good. We've got 6 weeks this time, a lot of time.
Not 5 weeks. 8-10 તો રજાઓ જવાની.
એવું છે. So this war with Krishna fighting Shalva. And at the very moment when he's fighting that war, here the gambling is going on. So each moment we lose our kingdom of consciousness for this material kingdom which is just a reflection. So this observing eye is Krishna has come in our life. It is he is now observing everything that is happening inside of us. This is a different sense organ. Now, can we...
Rajenbhai, if Krishna is consciousness, Can consciousness be unconscious? Can consciousness be unconscious?
Cannot be unconscious. But we can forget.
Forget.
We can forget. આજે કોઈક ન જોક મને બોલ્યું કોઈકે જોક બોલ્યું કે સ્વામી વિવેકાનંદ says that alcohol does not solve all the problems of the world. And so Swami Vijay Mallya says, but by having alcohol you forget that there is a problem. So we forget. And it is very this thing because the soul comes through Bhu, Swaha, Bhu, and the soul is of such high vibration, and the minute it comes into Swaha, the vibrations, there's a big drop. That big drop, it goes into a kind of swoon, and in that it forgets why it came. And this is automatic. The whole riddle is over here. Somebody has to poke it and tell it, you've forgotten why you came. Don't look in the reflection, look there. The fish is up there.
એટલે આ મહાભારતના આપણે જે દ્રષ્ટાંત તમે કહ્યું એમાં આપણે એને ભૂલી ગયાના સંદર્ભમાં લેવાનું. કૃષ્ણતા અનકોન્શિયસ મીન્સ ભૂલી ગયો માણસ એના કોન્શિયસ. Right?
Shalva's weapon has hit him. He's unconscious. Now we are excited in the game of dice. In the game of dice, our very basic energy, which we call Sarjan Shakti, has gone. Where did it go? And it is on that energy, if it rises up through the Kundali, what we call as, then Krishna will come. Because that is all. Right? Now, what will happen in our life once this observing eye comes in? What will happen? Each moment will now be a moment of transformation. Now I see him, and suddenly there's the beginning of dislike, and the observing eye will say that dislike is not him, it is you. It is you. Now just observe the dislike, forget about him. And it will observe inside. First of all my outer dealings with life, which were the result of what the five senses, who is he to come to meet, we will change overnight. So all my relationships have to change. If they don't change, then there's no observing eye. If I go back to getting angry on him, there is no observing eye. If I go back to reacting with him, there is no observing eye. If I go back to putting the blame on him, there is no observing eye. I'm not seeing the truth. But if the observing eye now have progressed into seeing the truth, I cannot react with him in that way. As yet, I have not understood that the observing eye in me and the observing eye in him is only one eye. It is all of that will come at some stage, but at least my dealings in life, the way I relate to everyone in life, the way I relate to nature in life will change overnight. I'll be a different person. I can now only treat the other as I treat myself, because what I see in him is actually within me, and now I have a separate inner drashtu, sense organ, which is telling me each moment, okay, that which you see is your own. That dislike which you see is your own. That anger which you see is your own. That cunningness which you see is your own. That jealousy which you see is your own. Don't say it is because of something happening outside of the five senses. You know, this afternoon we were talking, and just a few days ago, not even 10 days ago, I had a session with the judges of the High Court. So I asked them a question that, can you tell me the difference between man-made law and divine law? Man-made law and divine law. And we have these courts, which the courts of justice, where truth prevails. So-called truth prevails. Right? And of course, these were all judges. These are powerful people. Now, in a normal sense of things, if somebody comes and steals this from me, right, I will say this belongs to me, and I'll go to the police and I'll write a report. This guy took this. The police will go catch him, handcuff him, take him to the judge. The judge will say, okay, this is the sentence, you go into jail. Right? Now, take man's individual mind. Take the universal mind. And as we rise in consciousness, the individual mind dissolves into there is no longer an individual mind. Now, we are seeing the same world which we saw through the individual mind, through the universal mind. Now, what happens? What happens over here? Now, in the universal mind, there is nothing like this belongs to me or it belongs to him. So, there is nothing like robbery. Whether he takes it or he does not take it, does not. What is there in the universal mind? The universal mind didn't belong to you in the first place. In the universal mind, there's nothing like private property. But these are the small games, like, man plays. Like when we were kids, we play with dolls and things like this is your territory and this is my territory. And man plays these games in his societies. But what about the universal mind? Once your individual mind dissolves and your consciousness moves into that, will it not become the opposite? Tell me. This is what I asked them. Will it not become the opposite?
હમણાં જવાબદારી સોંપી છે મને.
એટલે વાત થોડીક તો તમે સમજી ગયા હશો. આમ તો મારા કરતા વધારે સમજી ગયા. કે આ કોઈ લઈ ગયું તો આપણે કહે કે એમને ચોરી કરી. પણ એ જે યુનિવર્સલ માઇન્ડ છે, વૈશ્વિક જે મન છે, એને મારું શું અને તમારું શું ખબર નથી. આપણું જે કોન્શિયસનેસ વધતું જશે, આ જે આપણું નાનું મન છે એ ઓગળી જશે એની અંદર. હવે ગડબડ થશે, કારણ કે મનુષ્યના બનાવેલા નિયમ ત્યાં તો સાવ ઉલટું લાગશે. ચોરી જેવું તો કંઈ છે જ નહીં ત્યાં. બટ હું જે પૂછું છું અહીંયા કે એ યુનિવર્સલ માઇન્ડને તમે રાખો. હું જ્યારે કહું છું કે ધીસ બિલોંગ્સ ટુ મી, અને હકીકતે મારી દુનિયામાં આ મારું જ છે. In my small world, this belongs to me. But when I am telling in front of that mind, this belongs to me, is that mind saying, he's stealing something? Is it a kind of rape of the universal mind? That is why here we have the concept that it is Lakshmi. And when you say, this Lakshmi belongs to me, you are raping her. Can you see what happens? The observing eye, once it comes in, and suddenly we are relating in life, all the laws of life will change. The whole world will become topsy-turvy. Badhu undhu thase. કારણ કે હવે મનુષ્યની દુનિયામાંથી તમે એક બીજી દુનિયામાં ચાલ્યા ગયા.
Can you clarify universal mind for me?
Hmm?
Can you clarify universal mind?
Universal breath, you know. That I breathe in, I say it is my breath. When I breathe out, it becomes the universal breath. Right? And many people say that even today when we breathe in, each breath, we are breathing in some of the molecules which even Buddha breathed 2000 years ago. Right? Has to be universal. Has to be. Similarly, the mind is formed through the patterns inside. The patterns inside, and what comes in through the five senses. What comes in through the five senses meets the patterns already lying, the sanskars lying, and the mingling of this forms the mind. And because those patterns are individual patterns, we say my mind. Can you understand what I'm writing? But if those patterns dissolve, then there is nothing like. Then now you're seeing everything in its original form. And this is what happens when there's a rise of consciousness. Now there is no my mind. There is only that mind. And in that mind, the money I use in my life comes from some central bank. I use it and it goes. But I say it belongs to me. And when I say it belongs to me, then in the eyes of that mind, I have already committed a sin. Not when the person has taken what is mine. So this was just a talk we were having with the judges. I said, what do you call, you're giving punishment to the wrong person.
So what did they say? What did they say?
They changed the subject. But what I'm trying to say is that as we expand in consciousness, there will be a radical change in our perception, a radical change in our understanding. It will become more universal. Right? Because then the small things of life which constitute our individual mind, or you have a better shirt than me, I feel jealous. Right? But if I know I'm looking in the reflection, right? And somewhere the reflection has a better color and somewhere the reflection has a little... Can you see what I'm saying? Everything will change. So much that we treasure in our life and we are holding on to all this is mine will suddenly go away. So it is this observing eye which at one end will be observing everything that is happening in our lower psychic nature, and at another end it is connected with something very higher. And those we will call just now, we last year talked about the centers, higher centers within us. And these centers are trying to talk to us every moment. And once we have the observing eye, we have the connection between the higher and the lower. So our life at present is driven by all the data which comes in from the five senses. Now something else will drive our life because we have new data. And that new data is closer to the truth. Closer to the truth. We'll start asking ourselves the question, till all this time I was just a slave to my senses, what my senses were telling me. Right knowledge, praman. The meaning of the word praman is what is seen in front of the eyes. But what is seen in front of now the inner eye. You know, in the Bible, they have all these miracles. And one thing we say, okay, maybe Jesus did put his hands on somebody and the deaf could now hear and the blind could now see. That is one way of looking at it. And the other way is saying that, are we not all blind? Are we not all deaf because we cannot see and hear inside? And if the hand of Jesus touched us and we were able to start seeing and hearing inside, would that not be a cure of our blindness and our deafness? So, you see, we have to take those miracles in which way? One way is just to interpret them through the thinking of the five senses. And one way is to interpret them with something higher. It's talking about something totally different. I'm sure he was not interested in
miracle.
Right? Curing some blind person or curing some deaf person. So this observing eye, it is a new sense where we see and we hear what till now we were totally blind and deaf to. It opens up something inside. Now, self-observation will move in two stages. The first will be a beginning stage where we will keep on forgetting the observing eye and we will go back into the sleep of life. Slowly the observing side will become stronger. Now for this, we will divide ourselves into two parts. The observing side and the observed side. આપણે આપણી જાતને બે ભાગમાં વેચી દેશું. This is the real meaning of the word bhakti. To divide into two. To divide into two. And one part we will call the observed, જે જોઈ રહ્યો છો, અને એક સાઈડ જે જોવાવાળો છે, the observing side. The observed side we will call as it. And the observing side we will call as I. We are not observing him. He has come to meet me. I am feeling dislike. You will say, it is in dislike. I am observing. I am not bothered about him. It is in dislike. Right? The wife comes, you will say, it is feeling love, I am observing. Don't call your wife it. Right? It is observing the wife, it is in love, if it is in love with the wife. Right? I am observing. I am observing. So there are two sides to us every moment. This is what Krishna calls the twofold path. We are walking on the twofold path together. Come to a state where every morning when you wake up, the observing side says good morning to the it. Try to break the separation. So I is seeing what is happening in it all the time. Now you're just an observer of what is happening in the bubble, what is happening in the reflection. And you will see how it changes. Just now it is cunning. Just now it is lying. Just now it is making small excuses. Just now it is showing what a great person he is, his self-love. Just now it is talking within itself all the small inner monologues inside. Just now it is making big speeches. And that I is watching it all the time. This is not a state of meditation. It's a state of separation. Now, how to really start practicing this? How to really start practicing this? And the best time is when we go to sleep at night. When we go to sleep at night, all these eyes which we are talking about, they live in centers. And the connections between all the centers start breaking. Something separates within us. And we can easily observe the eyes. So at night, just before you're going to sleep, start this. Just look at what is happening to it. It is feeling sleepy. It is not feeling sleepy, but it likes to daydream and then it will go to sleep. Right? So observe that it. See what that it is doing, and there'll be a sudden separation which will come very easily. Try to remember that state in the daytime as much as possible. So now, in that remembering, we are doing self-remembering. And if that state comes, we are doing self-observation. Many times in the night, you will see that there are one or two eyes inside which do not like to go to sleep. They are chattering amongst themselves. And stay away and observe their chattering. See how these two eyes which are supposed to go to sleep are not going to sleep. They are chattering amongst themselves, and that is why you are awake. A time will come when we will start perceiving the truth. The truth is that it is not I. It is a father, but I is not a father. It has a son, it may love the son. It relates to the son, but I is observing. It has nothing to do with being a father. That separation will come in life. And then you will see the truth of life, the play of life. It's something as separated. Every time we are negative, we are back in the sleep. The first step is to be free of negative emotions. We will start recognizing our negative emotions and all these negative eyes as we go into this doctrine of many eyes. Many of these negative eyes we just fall in love with. We will observe our inner talking, which happens so much. We'll observe all the lies and the half-truths which go on inside. And we'll observe how till now we have been living life only through the patterns. And now something is separated from the patterns. And those patterns are deeply embedded attitudes and habits. Till now we were just asleep. Now we have woken up from the sleep. Right? So the process starts with making two sides within us. The observing side, the observed side, the I and the it. And you have to keep reminding yourself. You lost some money in the business. The it is unhappy. I am watching. Right? Somebody insulted you. The it is feeling pain. I am watching. It's hard work. Very hard work. Very hard work. But there is no other path. There is no other path. You have to come to the state where you wake up from this dream of life. And that is the only purpose for which we have come together. So from tomorrow, we'll try to go into deeper what is self-observation, what are the many eyes, what do we see inside. We'll try to recognize the different eyes, who is Shakuni, who is Duryodhan, etc., etc. How to make the observing eye more powerful. What are life eyes, what are work eyes. And we'll try to put the whole game together, right? Let's see how we can do it. Any questions anyone has? I think I've overstepped my time a little.
છેલ્લી 2-3 મિનિટમાં કાલે તમે જે પેલો તમારો 20 મિનિટવાળો કામિંગ ધ ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટલ
તો ફેસબુક ઉપર મૂકી દીધું.
એ તો ખાલી અહીંયા ઘણા બધાને ગઈકાલે ખ્યાલ નથી. જસ્ટ એમાં 2-3 મિનિટમાં કહી દો ગુજરાતીમાં.
એટલે કાલે થોડી એવી વાત થઈ કે ગુરુજી કે તમે તમારા વિશે વાત કરો. તો મેં કીધું તમારા વિશે વાત તો શું કરું, પણ છેલ્લા 3 મહિનામાં શું પ્રેક્ટિસ કરતો હતો એ વિશે વાત કરું. એટલે છેલ્લા 3 મહિનામાં લોકોને બહુ ઓછું મળવાનું રાખ્યું હતું અને બની શકે તો વર્ક ઓન સેલ્ફ, જસ્ટ વર્ક ઓન સેલ્ફ. જ્યારે અહીંયા આપણે મળીએ તો વર્ક વિથ અધર્સ થાય છે, તો ઓલું વર્ક વિથ સેલ્ફ. અને હંમેશા એમ રહ્યું છે કે બંને બેલેન્સમાં ચાલવા જોઈએ. આપણે 2-3 મહિના બધાની સાથે પણ ફરીથી વી ગો બેક ટુ વર્ક ઓન સેલ્ફ. અને આ વખતે લક્ષ્ય રાખ્યું હતું કે આ વાંદરાને શાંત કરો. એટલે નારિયેલીમાં ચાલતા ચાલતા હું ગણતો તો વિઝ્યુલાઇઝેશનની છૂટ છે. અને હવે પછી હું ઇન્ટેલેક્ચ્યુઅલ સેન્ટર અને ઇમોશનલ સેન્ટર સમજાવીશ, એટલે વિઝ્યુલાઇઝેશન શું છે તમને કહીશ. એટલે આઈ ટુ વિઝ્યુલાઇઝ 1, 2, 3 એવી રીતે અલાઉડ હતું, પણ બોલવાની છૂટ નથી. બોલવાનું થઈ જાય અંદર તો હું ફરીથી જ્યાંથી ચાલ્યો તો ત્યાંથી પાછો ચાલવા. ઘણીવાર મારો માણસ આવી જાય, નારિયેલીમાં પાણી પાતો હોય કંઈક, અને મને વિચાર આ કેમ આવી ગયો, તો પાછો ચાલ્યો જાઉં. અને માણસ છે એટલે આપણો ચાલવાના પાથ ઉપર પાણી પાઈ દે, એટલે આપણા શૂઝ પાછા કાદવવાળા થઈ જાય. હા, એટલે પાછો અંદરનો વાંદરો બકબક પાછો જાય. એટલે એ રીતે હું 3 સ્ટેપ રિધમિક બ્રીધિંગની સાથે અને પ્રેક્ટિસ કરતો હતો કે આ વાંદરાને શાંત કરી શકાય. એટલે પહેલું મારું તબક્કું એ હતું. અને બીજું તબક્કું એ હતું હવે એને જેટલું બોલવું હોય છૂટથી બોલવા દેવું, પણ એમાંથી હું કોન્શિયસનેસ છૂટું પાડી શકું. એમાં દ્રષ્ટા હું દૂરથી જોઈ શકું કે એ કઈ રીતે બોલે છે અને શું બોલે છે. અને ઘણા સારા એના મને લાભ મળ્યા 3 મહિનાની અંદર. એટલે એ થોડી ગઈકાલે વાત. બરાબર. હા, બોલ. એની ક્વેશ્ચન્સ એનીવન એલ્સ?
Hey.
Amongst the stories that you were relating yesterday, I heard one which I didn't hear the completion of, and I was wondering if you could just add on something to that story. You mentioned that there was a time, I think earlier in your life, where you lost a lot of money on the stock market, and your mother took a picture of you to someone, and that it was a sadhu or a swami or someone, and that person remarked something about it. Now, I don't know what happened subsequently. Could you tell the rest of the story of what happened after that?
No, the rest of the story, I never made money again. No, it's and I'll tell you one thing. When I was with my guru, he forced me to lose a lot of money.
Oh.
And I can't tell you of those days, the sufferings which I've gone through. And every day he would increase the suffering. And it was not just monetary suffering. And he would keep asking me, if there's still water in your eyes with which you can cry, I want that to dry up. So, and it is that right use of suffering, the right transformation of suffering, which has helped me a lot. And I have to thank him for that. That which may take many lifetimes to happen, he sort of compressed it. And he compressed it and made me go through it in those couple of years, which he knew that we were together only for so much time. Of course, my mother is my mother. She's going to be worried. Right? She's going to be worried. What's this young boy doing? Right? But the Guru is a mother, a father, and everything, and a teacher also. Right? So the Guru sees ahead, and he knows that this suffering is more important than money. The value of this suffering is more important than money, because it is in the heat of that suffering, it is in the friction of that suffering that the patterns are burnt. And in the burning of the patterns, you're free. There's freedom, moksha, there's consciousness. So, I think he was a man in a hurry. Right? And I'm not saying everything happened when he was present. A lot of things happened after he left, but he had already sown the seeds. He had already sown the seeds. And the value of suffering, we don't understand the value of suffering. Because the only place where we can get fire is suffering. And without fire we cannot burn impurities. That is tapa. So I tell people that don't go looking for suffering. There's no need to go to a guru. Please don't go to a guru. Because he's going to throw you into more suffering and you won't be able to take it. But in your normal life there is enough of suffering. Just start consciously using that suffering. Even a small thing the son says to the mother can give the mother pain. A small thing, right? And that's enough. The very transformation for that, you don't have to go anywhere. Then just learn to transform the small sufferings. Because once you go to a guru, you are in trouble. In trouble. Right? They all like to go by Tufan mail. We don't want to go by Tufan mail. Right? But in our life, there is whatever suffering is there, make use of that suffering, make right use of that suffering. We waste it. And we don't realize by wasting suffering, we are wasting the most valuable thing in our life. Because that is the only thing which can create fire. And it is only the fire of suffering, the fire of tapa which burns the bondage. Burns the chains of bondage, the handcuffs.
This is connected with liking, disliking also. No?
If you have to like what you dislike, you have to suffer.
સાચા ગુરુની કેવી રીતે ચકાસણી કરવી? સાચા ગુરુની ચકાસણી કેવી રીતે કરવી કે સાચું છે કે લઈ ભાવનું આશ્રમમાં પૂજા મળી જાય તો સત્યાનાશ હોય.
આપણી બાંગ છે એટલે આપણને મળે છે. એને આપણે ગાળ ના આપી શકીએ. એ તો સામે કંઈક પીરસે છે. આપણી જેવી આંખ એવું આપણે લેશું, આપણું જેવું લેવલ ઓફ બીઈંગ એવું આપણે લેશું. સાચો ગુરુ અંદર છે, વ્યક્તિની અંદર. એટલે મેં આજે ઓબ્ઝર્વિંગ આઈની વાત કરી. એ કૃષ્ણ છે, સાચો ગુરુ અંદર છે. Krishna is just a name. Just a name. When I use the word Krishna, don't bring a personality inside it. Especially because we've seen the serials. Right? The outer guru has only one duty, to show you the way to the inner guru, the one which is observing inside. If the outer guru does anything else, if biju kai pan karto hoy, So then you ask a question whether you want to be here or not. Right? એમાં કયા ચકાસણીની ક્યાં મોટી વાત છે? કોઈ મોટી વાત. એ મને અંદરના ગુરુ તરફ લઈ જાય છે કે નથી લઈ જતો? એ અંદરના ગુરુ તરફ લઈ જતો હોય તો સાચો ગુરુ છે. અને એના સિવાય કંઈ પણ કરતો હોય તો લઈ ભાગવું તો કારણ કે લોકો એને પૂજે છે. લોકો એને પૂજે છે એટલે લઈ ભાગવું તો ના હોય લોકો એનું. અને લોકો કંઈક જોઈ પણ ગયા હોય.
એનું એક મહત્વનું કારણ એ છે રાજેન્દ્રભાઈ કે બધા સદગુરુઓ કે ગુરુઓ જે આધાર લે છે એ સત્ય વિશે જેનું નિરૂપણ થયું છે શાસ્ત્રોમાં, જે પ્રચલિત શબ્દો છે એનો આધાર લે છે. ભાઈ જાગૃત કરો, પરમ લક્ષ્ય તરફ લઈ જવાનું, જીવનનો હેતુ શું છે, જન્મ મરણમાંથી મુક્ત થવાનું, મોક્ષ. અને જે નોર્મલી જે જનરલ સત્ય માટેના જે પરિભાષા છે એટલે ડેફિનેશન છે, જે એના ઓરિજિનલી જે તમે આ બધું સમજાવો છો, કોન્શિયસનેસથી માંડીને એટેન્શનથી માંડીને એ બધા આધાર તો એનો જ લે છે.
એક વસ્તુ શું છે સાહેબ કે જ્યારે આપણે બોલીએ છીએ આપણે શાસ્ત્રમાંથી જ બોલીએ છીએ.
હા,
બરાબર છે. પણ જ્યારે બોલીએ છીએ આપણું એને અમલમાં મૂકીને જ્યારે બોલીએ છીએ ત્યારે એ શાસ્ત્રનું હવે રહેતું નથી, આપણું બની જાય છે. આપણું બની જાય છે એટલે આપણું ટ્રેડમાર્ક નથી એની. રાઈટ. મને હમણાં જ કોઈક અમેરિકન ગુરુનો થોડો મહિના દિવસ પહેલા ઈમેલ હતો કે આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ યુઝ યોર ધીસ ટેપ ઓફ માઇન ઇન માય ક્લાસીસ, કેન આઈ યુઝ ઇટ? સામે લખ્યું કે ભાઈ all knowledge comes from a higher source. The minute I say I own this knowledge, I'm lost, I'm gone.
Right.
It never belonged to me, it is yours if you understood it.
બરાબર.
Right. There is no copyright on knowledge. Right. It does not belong to any shastra. The shastra is the words of people who have experienced. Now you use those words and experience yourself. And when you talk to other people, talk about your own experience. And talk in a way that they can experience, not to use your experience to hypnotize those people into doing something else. આટલી જ વાત છે. એટલે પછી એ શાસ્ત્રનું નથી રહેતું. It comes into our blood. અને આપણું લોહી બની જાય છે. There is the observing eye is in a different time from all the other eyes. And that is that place, there is nothing which is born and nothing which dies. If you want to call it Shangri-La. Within us, there is that place. There nothing begins and nothing ends. So their time will take on a different quality. So that observing eye is standing in some other place within us, where this time does not touch that. Right? So definitely there has to be that Shangri-La within us, but not in our imagination. The vertical time. Yeah. So start practicing. I and it. I'll go back to right effort later on, mechanical, because effort goes also in two directions. The effort in the line of knowledge, effort in the line of being. Right? I want to take that later, but I want to first get into the, what you call, process of self-observation. So then we'll go, I thought I'll just change the direction of today and sort of go on this for some time, then go back to that. Right? So, જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ.
કાલે 6:30 વાગે.
6:30?
મોર્નિંગ.
મોર્નિંગ.